Okay, Sunday morning in the kingdom, and it's frickin' windy already. On frickin' real. I've had just about enough of this wind like an ex-wife. All right, it is Sunday, so make sure you clean your vacuum. Yes, it's a Sunday. Actually, I dumped it twice this week because of dogs. Yes, and the dirt is coming in from the boots into the house. And also, too, look at that. My cooking will improve. The staff bought me a new fry pan. First time in 6 years, I think it is. Yes, new fry pan. Now, no more flame broiling the items. Yes, I'm so happy. You know you're old when you're excited about a new fry pan. Yeah, it's not like the Playboy magazine coming in the mail. All right, this morning woke up to +2, but feels like +2. Then on the yo-yo scale, +36, but feels like 36. Also, too, I'm in the bad books of Facebook again. Yes, I'm not getting notifications, so people are replying to my posts or whatever, or my news page or whatever. I'm not seeing it. I'm getting nothing. Yeah, so I'm getting nothing. So you scroll onto the news page or the drama book thingy-mabob. I have to scroll down to see if people are replying. Yes, so I must have offended somebody. I'm being censored again. Oh, well. It's a fact of life in the new world. All right. Oh, yes. And today, Sunday, we'll be working on the Welding Sleigh. Yes. We did lots of work yesterday on the grader. We had to work late, so we got some overtime. Yes, which the government will take. Yes. So I'll get a smaller check than as if I, how would you say, didn't show up at work at all. Unreal. So we got the grader done for today. For yesterday, the fuel lines are all on. And today we work on the Welding Sleigh. Let's see if we can scroll here. All right. The wind is unreal. I just can't believe it. It's going to ruin the day. We had great plans for it being Sunday. And we're not having a fancy supper today because, how do you say, the money we spend for a Sunday supper, the staff spent it foolishly on Subway and Kentucky Fried Buzzard. Yeah. All right. So that money's gone. You have to budget to survive when you are retired at the end of the world. As an Amazon author. Oh, 5-star Amazon author and a famous YouTube influencer. Oh, maybe. I don't know. We're not getting the views, but oh well. Okay. So over here, there's the Welding Sleigh. I can't see nothing. So we're going to work on that today. So that way we just say we did something on a Sunday. A nice relaxing day. It's supposed to get warm today. I might have to take my long undies off. And maybe one pair of socks too. Ooh. You don't want to play strip poker with me. I can have the worst hands in the world and still have lots of clothes left on. All right, we better get to work. Here comes the boss.
Sunday morning in WHO-ville, it's just after 9 a.m. and I got the quad out. I have to head over to the kingdom and look at the drone. Hopefully I can get it up in the air today before it gets too windy. I already had breakfast and let the dogs back in, so let's get going. Made it to the kingdom, no problem. Now I will set up the drone. Hopefully I can get it up in the air today. If not, I'll have to take the drone home and make an account and do a bunch of other things, but I should be able to get it up there, at least test it out today. 9:30 and I just got my account made on the drone. Now I'm outside. Hopefully I can get it to fly. Now let's set the rest of this up and see if we can get it to go around the kingdom here. Tried to get the drone up in the air and it did the exact same thing the other drone 6 years ago was doing. As you can see here, this is a no-fly zone, so we might have to get in the 48 sedan delivery and drive out of town to see if we can get this up in the air. 10:30 and I just finished updating the drone. I don't think it will fly in the kingdom here because of the GPS and everything else that is connected to it. It is pretty fancy, but tomorrow morning, bright and early, we're going to head outside of town and hopefully get this drone up in the air once we are out of the no-fly zone. When I was in Thompson the other day, my dad needed some pajama bottoms, so I got him some nice fancy gray pajama bottoms. He is colorblind, so he doesn't know what the actual color is. After updating the drone, I wanted to try one more time to see if I could get it to fly, and as you can see there, it still says restricted, cannot fly here. We knew that was going to happen, so I'm officially done in the kingdom for now. I'll head on back into WHO-ville and wait for lunch. 11 a.m. and I just made it back from the kingdom. Now let's head inside and let the dogs out, then I can wait for 12 p.m. and make lunch. It is getting pretty windy out here right now, but that sun is nice and warm. It should be a good day.
Okay, 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning in the kingdom, and we knew the drone wouldn't fly because of the safety of the airport. The film drone we had here in 2017 when they filmed their own TV show Yes, we got dropped for the Rust brothers like a pregnant mistress. But that thing would go across the highway and then it would block it. But now they got the new programs, they block the drone so it can't fly. But that's no problem. That's for the safety or whatever, but it's okay for Dick to endanger our lives every day with his helicopter. All right, so over here, we're going to work on the welding sleigh. So I had to get the rake out. Yes, the rake. And raked in the shop floor here. So it's nice and easy to walk on, especially at my age. So we have a debris pile. But that's still ice in there. We still got ice back there. All right, let's do the walk and talk video. Because everybody needs their exercise. Okay, so the welding sleigh used to be the 46 Chevy truck, which was the welding truck. And it didn't pass the safety because they lengthened the frame. So we tossed the box up here. Okay, these are all scrap metal days. That's the original box. It was on the 39 Chevy at one time when I lived down south in Brandon, Manitoba. Yes, they hate me too. And then we put it on the welding truck to have the welder. There was a big diesel welder right here. And then it blew a connecting rod and it went through the back of the cab. Just a minor detail. But those are the memories. That welder was 100% junk. And that's when I gave up on Millers because I had Miller all my life. And we switched over to the Rangers, the Lincolns. So we have 3 of those. We have lots of Lincoln welders, except for those MIG welders. They were junk. The 175 plus, I think they were junk. So then we took scrap metal, tossed it on the truck to make the welding sleigh. And the welding sleigh has the rocker style ski design. These are rockers. So when you bolt it onto wood, there's nothing left of the wood. Yeah, because you have all the bolts going through. So the old timers laughed at us when we built the rocker sleighs because they said it was a useless design. Well, we are a working museum, so we're picking a different sleigh design of each sleigh. So this has the rocker sleighs, or the rocker skis, and we have this box on the front here, so we cut a door in. But the only problem is we have a problem with rain and moisture getting in. So I wrote on here, put a rain lip on. I'm not going to weld and everything. The box is dinted and banged up because it was scrap metal recycled. So we have some aluminum. Yes, some aluminum that we can, how would you say, bolt on to make a drip lip. Yeah, drip lip. Does that make sense? We can bolt that on, so that should work out good. Okay, another item on the to-do list for the last 20 years or more is to get that plate to lay flat. It's an actual petroleum tank. So we cut some slits in it and it's not laying flat. So if we take the plasma cutter out, yes, the Hobart Handler one. No. The ProPoint 30A Plus plasma cutter, cut some more slits in. Hopefully it will lay flat. Also too, this came from the mine. I don't know if you can see it. This is a checker plate with a unique design. This is a very soft material from the 1930s or whatever. Very soft. You trust it like an ex-wife. It has no structural strength or whatsoever. All it wants to do is rip. Oh, I'm hooked. All right, so that's the history of the truck. That was the thing. And then there was a hole in the floor for draining the oil on the Miller diesel welder. All right, so we put a blip on here for the barrels. Okay, so that'll be the project today. We're not going to work too hard. It's going to be hot and windy, so we'll have to drink beverage because it is a Sunday. So we got to get some rain lips on and get this plate to lay flat. That'll be our goal today. If not, we'll just drink more beer. Okay, lunchtime in the kingdom, and we got one drip rail, I guess they call it, rain rail or rain lip on. And we got out the finest supply of assortment of nuts and bolts. I don't want to use the good ones or the brand new nuts, so we're using these ones here. Yes, and put the square nut on because nobody's going to see that. All right, so this worked out pretty good. This is the pieces. We cut it, made it fit, and let's give it a test. Here we go. Oop. Did we see that last nutsman? Oops. But then again, the door isn't cut straight, so after lunch with the plasma cutter, yes, the ProPoint 38 Plus, we're going to trim that up and make it right. Yeah, it's only 30 years later. I think we did the box holes here on a logging job. We had to wait or something, and so we cut these holes out or something. I remember we went somewhere and we had to wait, so most of this stuff was, how would you say, done back then. So now 30 years later, we're improving it. But the thing is, we're improving it. That's the main thing. Not like my father and his father before him. I finish my projects. All right, let's go burn some lunch in the microwave.
12 p.m. and I'm just getting ready to make lunch. I'll be having leftovers from last night. As you can see, it is still pretty sunny out here right now, but there is some wind, so it's kind of chilly. Now let's head inside. The dogs have been out most of the morning since I got back from the kingdom. At 1 p.m. I'll do the weather. We are having a relaxing Sunday, so I don't have to go back to the kingdom today. 1 p.m. and I'm just finishing up lunch. This is the temperature we're sitting at right now. It's 19 degrees Celsius, which is 66 degrees Fahrenheit. We didn't have the feels like on the bottom. As you can see from my weather board, it is pretty windy out here right now, but it is nice. That sun is warm, so let's head inside and switch over laundry. Then I'm going to go into the dog pen and start cleaning it out since everything is thawing.
Okay, just about 2 o'clock in the kingdom, and look at the flags. They're blowing over there. The wind is picking up as they forecasted that, and the snow is slowly melting. Yes, I put air in the tires of the 67 because they were only flat on the bottom. All right, so we dragged out the ProPoint 38 Plus out of the shop for some fresh air. Plus, we strung some cords, and we used the power from the welder inside to power the plasma cutter because it's 220. And then over here, we nipped the top off the door so it looks good. So finally it's in true being true or whatever, first time in 30 years, and we're adjusting the door. Yes, so when we booger weld on it, it warps it or whatever, so it's actually going rather well. We have the right tools, the technology to get this project done, and I'm very pleased. I should have done this a while ago, but it's a warm day, a windy day, and we're having fun relaxing on a Sunday. Yes, we could be ice fishing. Oh yeah, the ice isn't very thick. All right, let's continue the quest because we're having fun. Okay, it's getting quite windy out here, but that's no problem. It's warm, but the only problem we have, it's melting pretty good. And my little shop floor here was getting wet, so I put a new floor down. So to hide up this big mess in here, we torch cut it. I put a strip of steel in the back from the scrap pile, and we tacked it in. All right, let's see if we can go to this side. All right, so we brought out the Hobart Handler 100 for some fresh air because it was thin material, and we have thick material. All right, so this is what we did. So there. So the big torch cuts to make a door hinge or whatever, after all these years, has now been enclosed. And we'll close it here. There. So by the time we put the latch or the lock in there, it's got a nice seal. It's close enough for the ladies I go with, but that's good enough. Yes, there's nothing else we can do. This is all scrap metal, recycled, repurposed, plus going through the bush and, how you say, getting rough and tough with these sleighs. They do get bent. Yes, we did flip this thing over on its side in 2014. All right, let's continue the quest because it's almost beverage time. Okay, I forgot to mention, we are gasless on the Hobart Handler 100 here. So there's no nozzle around the tip, okay, because the flex or whatever, it's a flex core wire. So having the small little end, you can wang it in here, you know, to get that welded. So that's kind of nice, and you have to keep your distance away. So since how we had the MIG welder out, and also too, it works better in the wind versus gas wire, because you're trying to, how would you say, put your hand around the nozzle to keep the wind from blowing. So we did some smooth out welds here and smooth out welds here, so we'll get a better resale value at the Barrett Jackson auction because everything's nice and smooth, not booger welded. Oh wait, it's all booger welded. All right, let's go see if we can find a beverage. Okay, it was a little too early to go for coffee. The boss would check the cameras and say I was lollygagging. So I'm on the other side of the welding sleigh, and this is wet over here. I had to put a new floor down so I could actually get going. This door was done at a later date because we only had the one access was that side, and we put this one in later. So this is a better quality product. So I put the board in here, bent it straight with the come along, got my piece on. We're going to bang this side off. And then if we're sober enough, we can work on that floor. But I don't know. It's nice and warm. Our first warm day. No long undies, one pair of socks. We might have to day drink. Yes, and enjoy us relaxing Sunday. Okay, 4 o'clock and we're on this side, and it is getting wet. This snow is melting. That wind is unreal, but I'm glad we're on this side, kind of out of the wind. All right, so we used the Hobart Handler 100, and we did a lot better welds because this is a lot better, how would you say, side. Also too, when you take angle iron and bolt it onto a curve this way, can you see that? Last nut's been curved. It droops down because that's the way nature is, okay? So it looks a little tight, but it's going to work. I'm not going to fart around and try and make it straight. All right, so we got some thicker material this time. We went to this recycled shed or whatever, got some thicker material. That's the strap that goes on to hold the products, everything in here, okay? So we emptied out a bunch, and we got this welded, so it seals up pretty good. Let's see if we can shut this. We do have to go through and clean this and organize it. Look at that. Ooh, nice and tight, very pleased. That should keep the rainwater out. But then again, what did it cost? Really nothing. Recycle, repurpose, and have fun. I think I drank more beers than what the project was worth. Oh well. All right, let's see if we can do some plasma cutting over here to get this plate laying flat, and then we can put the plasma cutter away. We don't have to drag it out anymore. Okay, we finished up today with the ProPoint. Yes, the ProPoint 38 Plus. Oh, the beverage is affecting my lips. All right, so we got up on top here. We drew some imaginary lines with the chalk and a stick. So we got this cut out, and it didn't take long because we did, well, I don't know. It just worked out rather well. Plus, we cut the boogerness off of there to expose the oil drain hole so we can patch that in properly so it's not a trip hazard because that thick plate was on top. All right, so what we did here was just do some nice cuts. That was cut with the torch. It was probably 72 inches long, a number 3 tip with propane on 60 pounds of oxygen. And you can see these are AC welds that the guy did. I'm not sure if it is 6011 or 6010 or whatever, but that's what they did when they built tanks. So then we get the loader out and going. We can come over here and push down on this here and then weld it from underneath, in theory. So it should bend and flex after 20 some years of sitting on there. Oh well, let's put the tools away and then we can have some victory drinks.
4:30, and this is the temperature we're sitting at right now. It's 23 degrees Celsius, which is 73 degrees Fahrenheit. We even have the feels like on the bottom. As you can see from the weather board, it is still pretty windy out here right now, but that sun is warm, so let's head inside, let the dogs out, then I can get supper ready and end my day.
Okay, 5 o'clock and we got it done. Yes, we set our goals, our sights on in the morning and we got it done. Yes, and look at that. The flags are looking good. Everything's looking good. And even the air's in the tires still. Wait till it gets cold and then they'll go flat, only on the bottom. All right, we got lots of noise, lots of traffic coming in and out of WHO-ville. All right, the snow is slowly melting. Oh, these lips. All right, look at the flags. They're a tangled mess. That's going to be me later because I worked hard on this Sunday. All right, let's go walk the dogs, make a video, and we'll talk to you later.